Hey, Bruce here, the 5-Minute Handyman. I am going to be applying some floor leveler and want to show you how to do that. So let's take a look at some of the hardware and we'll talk about it. Well, what I've done is I've put down one application already, and the floor is pretty uniform over in this area here. But over on this side I need to add a little bit more, maybe a half a bag. This is just under 2 bags to cover this. And so what I'm doing here is, see if we can get to, you can see, yeah, that'll work. I have my laser set up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape measure. It doesn't matter what height I'm set at, but I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to look at what the number is for where the laser hits it, and this is 45.5. If I put it over here, it's 45.5, and I keep going down, it's about 1/8 of an inch higher over in that corner. And then as I come down this way, I am 45 3/4. Over here I am at 46, and at the wall I'm at 46 as well. So what I've done is I've marked on the floor all these different dimensions, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour the floor leveler over in this corner here. Now this is 46, this is 45.5. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to mark it somehow in order to show where the level is going to be, so I'll know how much floor level to put in. And so what I'll do here is I've got a bucket, I've got some water in it, and I've got floor leveler material. And so over on this side here, we're looking at about 1/2 inch. And so I've got a piece of plywood which is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put this down on the floor, and I'll make a mark here, make some marks here. Alright, so I had 46 here, I had 46 here, so I'm going to keep moving this over. And work my way across. So 46 here, 45 5/8. So I'm going to need to get a little bit less over in this spot here, so I'm going to make a mark, and then I'll just draw a line just under that. That'll give me a gauge. Now over in this corner we are about, let's see, 45 3/4, so I'm only 1/4 of an inch off. And so what I'm going to try here is I'm going to take my Sharpie and just make a mark on it, lean it up against the stud and make a mark on here, and that's just about halfway. Alright, so I can just take this and make a mark like this. Okay, and so now I've got a gauge of where I need to put my floor leveler. So that's what we're going to do. Let's mix some of this stuff up. And so what I've done is I've made a mark, drawn a pencil line here, and that's about where I need to add stuff on this side. This side is pretty uniform, and so I just need to work on that edge over here. So let me set this up. I'll show you how to mix this. What I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to mix up 1/2 of a bag. And so I've got some water in this bucket, and I'll cut open my bag here. Now, I'll show you the technique that I use here. I've got a heavy-duty drill, and I've got a mixing paddle, and we'll put this in here and just tighten this up. Now, this is on slow, which means it's going to have a lot of torque. If I put it on high, it's going to go very fast but not have a lot of torque. So the issue is, yesterday as I was mixing up some of this stuff, the paddle got caught in the bucket and it just twisted right out of my hand because it was so much torque. So you just need to be very careful about how you're mixing in your container. So what I'll do is I'll put this in here. I'm going to lift this bag up. This is a 50-pound bag and I'm going to put in about half. So I grab it between my knees and I'll start mixing. And I'll start dumping it in. Give a little bit of a shake. Okay, so I'm going to get only about half of it in here. Now, the reason that we put in water first is so that as the floor leveler or cement or thin set, whatever you're mixing up, as it goes in, it's not going to cake in the bottom corners. So this still looks a little bit thin. Let me add some more. Oops. Okay. All right, I think that's about great now. Now the instructions say that we need to mix this for about 2 minutes, so I'm going to give it a good mix. That's still a little bit thin. Okay. Alright, that's much better. Now the reason that they say to mix for 2 minutes is to get rid of all the lumps. And so I can look through here and make sure that we get it all nice and smooth. So notice I'm grabbing on with 2 hands onto my drill. I don't want to go rogue here with just 1 hand because that's how it can twist out and you can end up hurting your wrist or your arm. Alright, so let me show you what we got. Alright, so we are looking at a nice thin mixture. Alright, and the whole idea with this material is to make it thin enough that it's going to self-level. Okay, so let's get set up with this. Okay, and so now what I'll do is I'm going to take this out of here. I'll end up needing to wash this off. Always take your tool off of the paddle before you wash it, because if you hit the handle by mistake, it's going to hurt. Okay, so remember that I have my lines here, so I'm going to dump some of this. So I'll just take and smooth this out. And my marker over here, I've got 45 3/4, so I'm going to just slide it up and kind of feather it in on this edge. Get it nice and smooth up to the tub. And this floor leveler, we can go down to a feathered edge here, so we don't have to worry about a certain thickness for it to have integrity. Alright, so see what I'm doing is I'm pushing pushing this out, and I want to get this edge wet so that as it levels, it's going to level right up to this edge. Because once it starts to dry, it's not going to work itself onto dry floor leveler that's there already. Okay. We'll just keep working this out. Okay, we add the rest of our stuff over on this side. Again, we keep an eye on our marking that's on the wall. We don't want to go over that. We want to just try to come and feather this out. And by feather, I mean get it from a thicker section down to nothing. So that's what we call feathering it. And so I'm going to draw this. When I say draw, I mean I'm going to take some of the material here and help push it in this direction. Okay, so that's drawing it out. Kind of do the same thing when we're painting. We put paint on the wall, and we go back and we roll over it just in one direction so that it draws out and provides a nice uniform coating. Okay, let's see how we're looking here. We got just about the right amount mixed up here. This stuff is some pretty runny stuff here. Alright, again, I want to make sure that it wets nicely to the base that I'm putting it on, and by wetting I want it to fully cover the edge. I don't want to have any dry spots in here because it won't level itself if I do. I think this is coming out nice here. Okay, this levels out pretty well. Now, once I get done with this, I think that looks pretty good. My lines are pretty well covered, pretty uniform. So once I get done with this, I'll show you what it's looking like. All right, so we're in pretty good shape here. So we're going to get done. We're going to have to let this sit for a day. 12 hours before I put my underlayment on there. And the underlayment that we have is this material, and it's a OSB flooring. It's got a tongue and groove, and so we're going to put that on top, and then we'll be ready to put our cement board and then our tiles. So that's the process for putting down floor leveler. Pretty easy process. The toughest thing is lifting the 50-pound bag, but once you get that squared away, it's easy. So thanks for watching. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel, and if there's any other things you'd like me to show you how to do, please leave it in the comments. Thanks. Bruce with the 5-Minute Hand.